Good morning, dear students. Today we will read the poem A Legend of Northland. So, this poem is written by Fabe Carey. She was born on September 4, 1824. She was an American poet and also the champion of women's rights. She died on July 31st, 1871. This poem, Legend of Northland, is actually a ballad. Ballad, is the meaning of a story told in the poetic form. That is called as a ballad. And folklore also, like it is carried from one generation to another in the story form, but story is told to the people in the poetic form. So the central idea of poem is that this poem puts forth the idea that we should not be selfish and always help the needy people. This poem is telling that people should not be selfish. And what is the theme of the poem? This is a poem of Saint Peter's, like school name is also Saint Peter. Saint Peter was a great saint. Was the preacher or the disciple of the Lord Jesus. He used to go from one place to another to give the teachings of the Lord Jesus. It is believed that he came from the heaven on this earth to give the teachings or the guidelines of the Lord Jesus to the common people. So in this, the poetess narrates that this is a poem about the Northland. Northland means an area near the North Pole. Though no specific place is identified in this poem, no specific reason is given, but Northland is mentioned. Northland means an area near the North Pole. Though it is near the North Pole, so it is very cold. So the people experiences here the long wintry nights, and the days are very short. The nights are so long that people could not sleep whole night. The days are very short, and the people are covered with the full of feather clothes. The small children look like the bear cubs. Bear cubs means covering with the feather. The body is covered with the clothes or covered with the feather. Though the poetess does not believe the authenticity of this story, but it has a specific reason to tell the story. Authenticity means she does not believe that whether this story is true or not, but though the story is giving the moral values to the people, so she wants that this story should be told to the children. So once Saint Peter was on his usual round of traveling and preaching people, he felt hungry. So he went in front of the cottage where a little woman was making the cake. So this Saint Peter, when he looked at this lady was baking the cake, he asked the lady to give her one cake, as he was feeling hungry and he was also fainting. But this little woman was very greedy. She don't want to give a single particle, single moss of his food to anyone. So she thought of baking another cake, of a small cake, so that she could give to the Saint Peter. So she started making the cake. Once the cake was done and it was ready, she found that this cake is too big to give to the children. So she planned out to bake the another cake. So again she needed the flour, and then she baked the cake. Once the cake was done, again it was too big. She thought that whenever I am eating these type of cakes, it is too small for me. But give to the saint, these are too, I am feeling too big. So then she again prepared one more cake, and it was so thin like the wafers. Wafers are a form of the biscuits, or you must have tasted it. It is available in the market. It's a very thin layer, and that also she felt that this is too big to give to the saint. So what she did, she picked up all the cakes and put it in the shelf. This Saint Peter was noticing from outside. Though he was very hungry, he was fainting, he felt very upset. And he got very angry, and in anger he gave the curse to this lady. He said, "You are too mean to give the food to any people, so better you will turn into a bird, the bird which will be searching the food, even the scanty food, even the small food, for his whole of the life." So that very moment, this lady turned into went inside the chimney, and out of the chimney she came out in the form of the woodpecker. Though she was wearing the red cap, so red scarlet is there on the top of the bird, you can see. And this little bird can be seen picking his beak that inside the wood, and that also dry wood, in search of the scanty food. So the moral of this story is that we should not be selfish, we should not be mean, we should help others and be ready to give the food also in any way. So this is the theme of the story. Now I will explain you the chapter with the help of the book para-wise. After that, we will do the literary devices. So now here we begin with the explanation of the poem. A legend of the Northland. Away, away in the Northland, where the hours of the day are few, and the nights are so long in winter that they cannot sleep them through. Here it means away, away in the Northland means a land very far from here, close to the Northland, though the area is not specified here, the specific area is not given, but Northland means an area near the North Pole, where the days are very long. Means the days hours are very short and nights are long, that they cannot sleep them through. People could not sleep the whole night. When they harness the swift reindeer to the sledges when it snows, and the children look like bears' cubs in their funny furry clothes. It means they are using the reindeers because reindeers easily moves in the snow area, and these reindeers are used in the sledges. Sledges are the sort of a car. That cart could be easily carried by or pulled by the reindeer easily in the snow. So here the poetess says the swift reindeer to the sledges when it snows, and the children look like bears' cub. Bears' cub means they are covered with the furry clothes because it is too cold. So these little children are covered with the furry clothes, so they look like they are bears' cub. They tell them a curious story. I don't believe it's true, and yet you may learn a lesson if I tell the tale to you. Here the poet is saying they tell them a curious story. They here refers to the parents of the children. Generally parents tell the story to the young ones, so they tell them a curious story. Again the poet is saying I don't believe it's true. It means she is not authenticized or she is not sure that this story is true, but still she want to tell the story so that the children may learn a lesson. Once when the good Saint Peter lived in the world below and walked about it, preaching just as he did, he came to the door of a cottage in travelling round the earth, where the little woman was making cakes and baking them on the earth. Now here the poetess is telling that when the good Saint Peter was who? Saint Peter was the saint who came on the earth to give the preaching of the Lord Jesus. He was a disciple, or you can say was the follower of Lord Jesus. He used to go door to door or move around the earth to give the teachings of the Lord Jesus. So it is written here, once when the good Saint Peter lived in the world below and walked about it preaching just as he did, he came to the door of a cottage. Once he went into the cottage travelling around the earth, and he saw a little woman was making the cakes, and she was baking them on the earth. H-E-A-R-T-H. Earth means oven made up of a mud. So she was preparing the cake. And being faint with fasting, for the day was almost done, he asked her from her store of cakes to give him a single one. Though Saint Peter was fainting, he was hungry for many days, and he was just going to faint, so she asked the little woman to give a small piece of cake from his storage. So she made a very little cake, but as it looked baking lay, she looked at it and thought it seemed too large to give away. So what she did, she made a small cake to give the Saint Peter, but once the cake was done, she felt that it is too large to give to the Saint Peter. So therefore she needed another and still a smaller one, but it looked when they turned it over as large as the first had done. So what she did, she needed the another cake, a more smaller one than what the first one she baked. But once the cake was baked, she found that it is of the same size what the first she has done. So she took a tiny scrap of dough and rolled it flat and baked it thin as a wafer, but she couldn't part with that. So what she did, she took the another scrap of the dough and then she again rolled it in a flat as the wafers, but that piece also she couldn't give to the Saint Peter. First she said, my cakes that seem too small when I eat of them myself, and yet too large to give away, so she put them on the shelf. She thought, she said to herself that when I eat this cake, I feel too small, but they are too large to give to the saint. So what she did, she picked up all the cakes and put it on the shelf. Then good Saint Peter grew angry, for he was hungry and faint, and surely such a woman was enough to provoke a saint. So by seeing this, Saint Peter turned angry, because this act of this woman was quite sufficient to provoke his anger, to raise his anger. And he said, "You are far too selfish to dwell in a human form, to have both food and shelter and fire to keep you warm." So what he said, "You are too selfish, and you are not supposed to live in this human body. You should not get this food and shelter and warm fire, because in the cold places we need the warm fire to keep ourselves warm." So what he did, "Now you shall build as the birds do, and shall get your scanty food by boring and boring and boring all day in the hard dry wood." He said that now you should go for searching even the small piece of food, and you keep on digging and digging in the dry wood in order to get your food. Then up she went through the chimney, never speaking a word, and out of the top flew a woodpecker, for she was changed to a bird. And after that she went into the chimney, and out of the chimney a bird came named as a woodpecker, because this lady is now turned into the bird because of the anger of the Saint Peter. She had a scarlet cap on her head, and that was left the same, but all the rest of her clothes were burned black as the coal in the flame. Though as she was wearing the cap, red color cap on her head, that cap remained same, that is scarlet cap, but rest of her clothes were burned and turned in the black color. So it is said, but all the rest of her clothes were burned as a coal in the flame. And every country school boy has seen her in the wood, where she lives in the trees till this very day, boring and boring for food. So from that day to till today, every school going child could see the woodpecker searching for the scanting food, and still boring in the dry wood. So the moral of this story is that we should not be selfish. We should help the other people. Now we move on to the literary devices of the poem. First we see the rhyming scheme. As you see, the first is stanza. Away, away in the north land, where the hours of the day are few, and the nights are so long in winter that they cannot sleep them through. Last word of each line you see, Northland A, few B, winter C, through again B. So rhyming this scheme of this stanza is A, B, C, B. The same rhyming scheme is followed in the rest of the poem. Now second literary device comes as the alliteration. Alliteration means the repetition of the first alphabet or the first two alphabets in the particular verse. As you can see in the 8th line of the poem, in their funny furry clothes. So here FU in funny and FU in furry, both are repeating. So this is the alliteration. So in the same way we can see the other words also, which are in the form of alliteration. The next device comes as a repetition of the words, like very first line, away, away. Not alphabet, but the full word is repeated here. So this is the repetition of the words. Now next we move to the next literary device is the enjambment. Enjambment means when one line moves to the next without using any kind of punctuation mark in between. For example, and the nights are so long in winter that they cannot sleep them through. Here you can see in the first line nights are there, second line same reference of the night is continued without any punctuation mark, and the nights are so long in winter that they cannot sleep them through. So this is the enjambment. Now we move to the next literary device is the simile. Simile means when we compare the things with the word like or as. When we compare two different things using the word like or as. Like we can see in the third line of the second stanza, and the children look like bear's cub. Here the simile is there, comparison is there of the human children with the bear's cub. Another example we can see, as large as the first had done. This is another comparison. You can see in this line the simile is there. One more example, you can see, and baked it thin as a wafer. Thin what like? Thin as a wafer. So here is the comparison using the words like and as. These words when we use for the comparison, this comes the simile. This is the one most important literary device of the poetic form.